Tonight on the Night Team. The loss of revenue at a Louisville nonprofit that is now impacting 3,500 kids.
Without charitable gaming, it's going to be very difficult for us to continue on with our mission.
90% of the gaming machines at Shirley's Way forced to shut down due to a statewide theft ring, where the closures leave the nonprofit and the kids they feed. Plus,
shots fired, shots fired. What's your location? Shots fired. What's your location?
a robbery suspect shot and killed by LMPD officers in the South Side neighborhood. What moments led up to the shooting? And later, a judge allowed Jamie Knowles' nieces and nephews to be compensated first, while many of the civil lawsuits against him are being figured out.
The last 2 years has just been crazy, honestly, but now I'm just feeling relieved that it's all over.
Focus reporter Travis Breeze spoke to his family, who say they're happy it's all over. Right now on the WHAS11 Night Team. First here tonight at 11, about 90% of Louisville nonprofit Shirley's Way's gaming machines had to be shut down on Friday, which they say impacts their ability to feed 3,500 Kentucky kids. It's our top story here on the Night Team. I'm Alex Dieterer. The nonprofit says this was ordered by the Kentucky Horse Racing and Gaming Corporation due to a theft ring within the state. But as the Night Team's Clarice Shaley and photojournalist Jessica Farley saw, they did speak with Shirley's Way's founder today, and he says the order is now limiting the nonprofit from continuing its mission. The sounds and lights of players donating at Shirley's Way are still on at their Dixie Highway location.
He's doing such a good job for so many people.
Other locations have gone quiet.
Because somebody else ain't getting their money, they don't want him to do it.
The last few days have been pretty stressful.
Mike Mulrooney.
And there's really no need for it because everything was going great, and it all ended at 5 o'clock on Friday.
He's the founder of the nonprofit Shirley's Way that helps cancer patients in the community. Mulrooney says they got this notice in an email Friday evening sent from the Kentucky Horse Racing and Gaming Corporation. The notice orders the closing of 2 machine providers, including Light and Wonder Gaming, which provides a lot of Shirley's Way's machines. The notice cites illegal fishing on the machines across the state and says licensed organizations have failed to prevent the crime, which has brought about the immediate order. Mulrooney says these machines make up about 90% of their gaming machines here in Louisville, extremely limiting their ability to financially fulfill their mission.
It was very difficult to send an email yesterday to all these schools that we had hopefully it's temporary, but we had to end the feeding program right before the holidays.
The organization feeds about 3,500 kids across 26 schools in Louisville. Mulrooney says they've canceled events and have to scale back on helping other nonprofits and people who are unhoused. All they can do is wait.
I hope so. I really do.
For answers on how long the order will last and if the organization will have to change their operations. In the meantime, the sounds can be heard at the Dixie Highway location.
That's the only reason I play and don't care that I lose.
While people continue to support the work Shirley's Way does. Off Dixie Highway, Clarice Shaley, WHAS 11 Night Team on your side. Mulrooney told us tonight that his organization is not alone and others in Louisville are being impacted by this order. He said he's joining those groups for a meeting with the corporation tomorrow to get more answers. Kentucky Horse Racing and Gaming Corporation told us tonight that they will have a response on the situation tomorrow. A developing and breaking story we first brought you last night. A robbery suspect was shot and killed by LMPD officers last night. LMPD says the initial call that came in was for a robbery at gunpoint in the South Side neighborhood.
Shots fired, shots fired. What's your location? Shots fired. What's your location?
Shots fired by LMPD officers at the corner of Southland Boulevard and Southside Drive.
Caller advises she was door dashing and a subject put a gun on her when she was delivering. I don't know if anything was stolen or not.
The caller stated they were robbed at gunpoint by a suspect.
LMPD Deputy Chief Ryan Bates says responding officers were given a description of the subject. Once officers were on scene, LMPD says a suspect matching the description they were given
was seen walking down the street near the area of the robbery.
Officers made contact with the suspect, who started to flee while at the same time producing a handgun. 2 LMPD officers subsequently discharged their firearms, striking the suspect. The suspect was pronounced deceased on scene by EMS.
Bates says no officers were injured in the shooting and a handgun was recovered at the scene.
Calls for service like this remind us of the dangers officers face every day. I am extremely grateful that no officers or innocent bystanders were injured during this rapidly unfolding situation.
Per LMPD's policy, the names of the officers involved in the shooting will be released within 72 hours of that shooting, and the body-worn camera footage will be released within 10 business days. High-stakes talks in Geneva today as U.S. and Ukrainian officials meet to try and end the war in Ukraine. The Trump administration has recently pushed a 28-point plan which would force Ukraine to forfeit territory in the east and give Russia control of almost 1/5 of the entire country. It also limits the size of Ukraine's military while forcing Ukraine to promise it will never join NATO. It does provide some sort of U.S. military-backed security guarantee for Ukraine.
Clearly, I think we all recognize that part of getting a final end to this war will require for Ukraine to feel as it is safe and it is never going to be invaded or attacked again.
The Trump administration has threatened to cut off all military aid to Ukraine if this plan is rejected. But President Trump did say on Saturday it's not his final offer. Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke about the plan on today's talks.
We've made substantial progress. Today was the best day we have had in our entire 10 months of working on these issues.
The U.S. delegation says it will meet separately with Russian negotiators. In the meantime, some U.S. lawmakers disagree with the president's plan. Today, Senator Mitch McConnell commented on the peace deal on social media. He said, quote, "Those who think pressuring the victim and appeasing the aggressor will bring peace are kidding themselves. Which difficult concessions are we pressing Russia to make?" End quote. And happening late last night, President Trump is renewing his call for the arrests of a group of Democratic lawmakers who urged troops to disobey unlawful orders that might be issued by the administration. The 6 lawmakers who previously served in the military or intelligence community posted the video message last week on social media. In response, Trump called the post, quote, "seditious behavior punishable by death," end quote. GOP Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky thinks the president's rhetoric could be problematic.
But if you take at face value the idea that calling your opponents traitors and then specifically saying that it warrants the death penalty is reckless, inappropriate, irresponsible, there are a number of other ways to describe it, but it's not something that is helping the country heal wounds. I think it stirs things up, and really I think we can do better.
The lawmakers addressed in the president's posts issued a statement saying they will, quote, "not be intimidated." A Jeffersonville restaurant showed its gratitude for U.S. service members and their families today by giving away free Thanksgiving meals to those who answered the call of duty. This is Harry's Tap House and Kitchen's 5th year donating 1,000 meals to local charities during the Thanksgiving season. During today's Vetsgiving lunch at the Indiana National Guard base in New Albany, Harry's stepped in to serve signature holiday dishes for around 100 veterans and their families. John Engel with VA Rep says that today was just one of the many days where the Southern Indiana community came together to help service members in need.
Mainly, there's always a need. One of the most beautiful things about this area, about our community, is every time I've ever asked for help, I've received it in droves. Money, time, it's amazing the appreciation that veterans get in this community, and it's awesome.
So far, Harry's Tap House and Kitchen has donated over 8,000 meals to charities and nonprofits like Catalyst Mission, New Hope, and the Genesis House. And the gratitude for veterans and their service continues with Operation Homefront at Churchill Downs. Today, 50 military families enjoyed a day at the Churchill Downs racetrack and also received free Thanksgiving meal kits and grocery gift cards through Operation Homefront's Holiday Meals for Military program. The program is in partnership with companies like Kroger and Coca-Cola, who say they're grateful to serve those who have served our country.
I hope this serves as a physical, emotional, and spiritual blessing to the families, and we're grateful to have such great partners as Operation Homefront, Kroger, and Churchill Downs to bring some joy to the military families and to serve those who serve us. We're grateful to be able to do that.
Operation Homefront says they've served over 12,000 military families across dozens of events nationwide through the holiday Meals for Military program. And right now, Zachary Taylor National Cemetery is experiencing a wreath shortage, with about a quarter of the headstones at risk of not having a wreath for the holiday season. Just over 9,000 wreaths have been donated for the 11,400 graves at the cemetery. The order deadline is midnight Thanksgiving Day, which is less than a week away. The wreath placing ceremony is taking place December 13th, and for more information on how you can donate, you can go to louisvillehonor.com. Kosair for Kids hosted their 11th annual pie auction today. All of the money brought in goes towards helping kids in need. Dozens of desserts from renowned Louisville chefs were up for grabs at this year's auction. Money from bidders will help with health care bills, medical equipment, and assorted treatments that otherwise wouldn't be available to struggling families. People at the event today got to hear the story of Kosair kid Elliot, who was born with spina bifida. Elliot's family received support from Kosair for Kids, letting them focus on their son without having to worry about hospital bills. Elliot's mother spoke today on what the support means to her.
I always come back to the word help. I always come back to that these people are helping my son develop. They're helping build a foundation for him. They're helping give him a light that maybe he wasn't going to be able to have. That's what it means to me.
While the total amount of money raised hasn't been confirmed yet, organizers say they believe the auction brought in over $100,000 for Kosair for Kids.